Well, 10 days ago, an inmate inside Cummins Prison, Chris Hudson, was found dead in his bed.
While a state police investigation is underway, a source inside the prison tells Channel 7 News Hudson's death was related to the synthetic drug K2. Channel 7's Jason Peterson joins us tonight with a look at what is a growing problem inside Arkansas prisons.
Yeah, during a 5-week period in August and September of this year, 4 inmates in 3 different Arkansas prisons were found dead in their cells. Stephen Shaw, Devin LeMay, Cody Brickner, and Kenneth Jones were all 29 to 33 years old. All of them had drug-related disciplinary problems while in prison. For example, on June 28th, Shaw earned 30 days in isolation for using drugs, alcohol, or other chemicals. And twice last year, he got the same punishment for refusing to submit to a drug test. Shaw was serving a 55-year sentence for killing 41-year-old Wesley Burris in his Little Rock home in 2012, and then setting the home on fire in an attempt to conceal the crime. A state police investigation into Shaw's death states that it was suspected that K2 is involved. The other 3 deaths are still being investigated. If they turn out to be K2 related, it will not surprise State Crime Lab Deputy Director Cindy Moran.
And it's very dangerous, and it has different effects on the people, different people, and it just depends on the compounds themselves. They're ever changing, and so it may not take very much to cause a death for someone.
At our request, the State Crime Lab researched all of the prison inmate deaths linked to K2 over a 14-month period, July 1st of 2016 through August 31st of 2017.
We've had 10 cases that have tested positive for these K2 or synthetic cannabinoids.
KATV has been investigating a dozen inmate deaths that occurred since last summer. The State Crime Lab confirms that 7 of the deaths do involve K2, but cannot specify which ones. Others may be K2 related as well, but the drug metabolizes quickly and comes in over 100 varieties. In many cases, K2 use is suspected, but cannot be confirmed. A sister of Julian Shavers tells us he did die to a drug overdose, but it was not K2. The wife of Donnie Nalen says his cause of death is listed as hypertension and hardening of the arteries, but she says her husband often complained about the rampant drug use inside Cummins Prison, his home for the past 20 years. A drug addiction cost Nalen his freedom and possibly his life.
Do you think that the prison system thinks that there is a K2 problem, and do you think they're trying to address it?
No. Not unless his death has rocked the boat, no. I really don't think that they, according to Donnie, they don't give a shit.
A correctional officer at Varner watched Jody Cook consume a kite, or folded piece of paper, commonly used to transport drugs in prison. He died several hours later. Kirby Joe Coggin told fellow inmates he was going to sell his commissary items and buy enough K2 to kill himself. James Walker suffered a head injury during an incident and later died. An inmate tells us Walker was beaten to death over a K2 debt. All 3 inmates had drug-related disciplinaries on their records.
They call it deuce in there. It's K2. It's that synthetic marijuana out here.
We talked to a mother who has a son serving a sentence in an Arkansas prison. A drug problem got him in. She's praying a drug problem doesn't keep him from getting out.
Just the last year, really, is when that deuce has gotten really thick inside the prison. And he said he tries to stay away. He said there's something about it. He said, you know, he's tried lots of drugs out here off and on, and he said there's something about that people can't stay away from it.
Our concern was how these things could be entering in the prison system.
So we asked how many correctional officers have been terminated over the past year for bringing K2 or other illegal drugs into prison. We learned that 15 people have been fired for trafficking in all forms of contraband. The inmates, the relatives of inmates, former prison employees, and volunteers at the prisons that we've talked with all agree that correctional officers are the most likely way that K2 is getting into Arkansas prisons.
Inside or outside prison walls, this is a drug that is very dangerous and you want to avoid. Jason, thank you so much for that.